Most millionaires don't wake up in the morning, stretch, and say, "Ah, yes, today I shall become rich." They're not chanting affirmations in the mirror. They're not posting screenshots of bank balances. And they're definitely not calling everyone bro while selling a course. What they do is much quieter, and honestly, much more boring. They follow a few simple rules automatically. Not because they're smarter, not because they're lucky, but because those rules were wired into how they think about money. Most people were never taught. Most people are taught how to earn money. Millionaires are taught how to keep, protect, and multiply it. Most people upgrade their lifestyle the moment money comes in. Millionaires pause. They think. Then they decide. Most people ask, how much does this cost? Millionaires ask, what does this cost me over time? And here's the uncomfortable part. Once you see these rules, you'll realize you've been playing a different game the whole time. Not the wrong game. Just a game designed for survival, not ownership. Today, I'm breaking down the hidden wealth rules millionaires follow automatically. The quiet ones. The boring ones. The ones that actually work. Stay with me. Rule number 1 is simple, but it messes with people's heads. Income is not wealth. Income is what comes in. Wealth is what stays, grows, and quietly works even when you're asleep. That's why you'll see someone earning a modest salary who feels calm, and another person earning a huge salary who's permanently stressed. High income looks impressive. Wealth feels peaceful. Here's where most people get trapped. They think, if I just earn more, I'll be rich. So they chase promotions, overtime, side hustles, anything that raises income. And yes, income matters. But income alone is fragile. Stop working, income stops. Get sick, income stops. Lose relevance, income stops. Wealth doesn't panic when you take a break. Wealth is built from assets, things that pay you back. It's also built from time, freedom over your schedule, and optionality, the power to say no without fear. That's the real flex. Salary thinking says, how much do I earn per month? Wealth thinking asks, what continues paying me if I disappear for 6 months? This is exactly why doctors, athletes, and celebrities still go broke. They earn millions, but they spend like income will last forever. Big houses, big cars, big lifestyles, zero systems. When the spotlight fades or the body slows down, the income dries up, but the expenses stay loyal. Millionaires separate the two automatically. They use income to buy assets, not applause. They let wealth grow quietly while everyone else is trying to look successful. Once you understand this rule, money stops feeling like pressure and starts feeling like leverage. And that changes everything. Rule number 2 sounds boring, but boring is exactly why it works. They pay themselves first. Silently. Not loudly. Not with screenshots. And definitely not with motivational quotes. Before the rent. Before shopping. Before the let me just enjoy life a little. The money is already gone. This is where most people get it backwards. They say, let me spend first, and I'll save what's left. But let's be honest. There is never anything left. Life expands to eat whatever money you give it. One more subscription. One more outing. One more emergency that somehow feels urgent. Willpower doesn't stand a chance. That's why millionaires don't rely on discipline. They rely on automation. The moment income arrives, a portion disappears into savings or investments. No debate, no emotion, no temptation. The money never reaches the account where bad decisions live. This is powerful because your brain is lazy, and that's okay. When saving requires constant self-control, you'll fail eventually. When saving is automatic, you don't feel it. You don't try to save. You simply live on what's left. And here's the funny part. People think this feels restrictive. It doesn't. It feels calm. Because when money is already handled, spending stops feeling guilty. You're not stressed every time you swipe your card. You're not negotiating with yourself at midnight. Millionaires understand this early. Systems beat motivation every single time. That's why this rule hits so hard. If you wait to save what's left, there will never be anything left. Pay yourself first. Do it quietly. And let the system do the work you were never meant to do manually. Rule number 3 is unpopular because it works. They avoid lifestyle inflation like a disease. Most people treat a raise like a reward ceremony. New phone, bigger apartment, better car. Suddenly your upgrade has a monthly payment. Millionaires, they pause. Not because they're cheap, but because they're strategic. This is why genuinely wealthy people often live what looks like boring lives. Same house, Same car, same routines. Not exciting, but incredibly powerful. Lifestyle inflation is sneaky. It doesn't attack all at once. It shows up politely. You earned this. Just this once. It's not that expensive. And before you realize it, your income went up, but your freedom didn't. That's the trap. Every lifestyle upgrade is a permanent commitment. Not just money, but future pressure. You can't easily downgrade your rent. You can't insign a car loan without consequences. So now you need the income to stay high. That's how people with great salaries end up terrified of missing one paycheck. Millionaires play a different game. They let income rise faster than lifestyle. The gap becomes investments. The gap becomes options. The gap becomes peace. They don't rush to look rich. They're busy becoming rich. Here's the quiet rule they live by. Appear poor. Grow rich. Not fake poor. Just intentionally unimpressive. Because real wealth isn't loud. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't chase approval. It quietly compounds while everyone else is upgrading their stress. Avoid lifestyle inflation long enough, and something strange happens. Money stops controlling your choices. And that's when life actually starts feeling expensive in the best way. Rule number 4 flips what most people chase. They buy time before they buy status. Most people use money to look successful. Millionaires use money to escape being busy. That's a big difference. Status is loud. Time freedom is quiet. A luxury car turns heads for a few seconds. Time freedom gives you your life back every single day. This is why wealthy people happily pay for things others complain about. Delivery instead of errands. Assistance instead of chaos. Outsourcing instead of exhaustion. It's not laziness. It's respect for time. They understand something most people ignore. You can always earn more money, but you can't buy back hours you've already spent stuck in traffic, waiting in lines, or doing things that drain you. Busy lives feel important, but they're expensive. The rich hate being busy. Busy means everything depends on them. Busy means no leverage. Busy means burnout dressed up as productivity. So they delegate. They ask, what can I remove from my day? Not, what can I add? Here's the funny part. Many people think convenience is wasteful. But convenience isn't about comfort. It's about focus. When your energy isn't scattered, your decisions improve. When your schedule breathes, your thinking deepens. That's why this quote hits hard. If it looks expensive, it probably costs time. Status items drain money and attention. Time-saving decisions often look boring, but they quietly upgrade your life. Millionaires don't want more things to manage. They want fewer obligations. Because once you control your time, status becomes irrelevant. And freedom? Freedom never goes out of style. Rule number 5 is the moment hustle culture starts to crack. They think in systems, not hustle. Most people are taught to work harder, longer hours, more effort, more grind. And for a while, it works. Until it doesn't. Hustle is fueled by energy, and energy runs out. Miss a day, income drops. Get tired, progress slows. That's not freedom. That's a fragile setup. This is where most people burn out. Millionaires ask a different question. How can this work without me? That's the system mindset. A system is one-time effort that pays you repeatedly. A hustle pays you only when you show up. Assets belong to systems. Businesses, investments, intellectual property. Things that don't ask for permission every morning. That's why systems scale. You can only answer one phone call at a time. But a system can serve 1,000 people while you sleep. Hustle feels heroic. Systems feel boring. But boring is powerful. This is why wealthy people love things that look slow. Processes, automation, compounding. They're not lazy, they're strategic. They'd rather build something once and refine it than restart every day at zero. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Hard work without leverage becomes a cage. You don't need to work less. You need your work to work for you. Hustle is a phase. Systems are a foundation. And once you switch how you think, exhaustion stops being a badge of honor and starts feeling like a warning sign. Build systems long enough, and effort becomes optional. That's not luck. That's design. Rule number 6 is about something most people underestimate. They keep their financial moves quiet. Not secretive in a paranoid way, just private. Most people announce plans before they build anything. New business ideas, big investments. Something big is coming. And the moment you announce it, the noise starts. Advice you didn't ask for. Doubt disguised as concern. Pressure to perform before you're ready. Wealthy people avoid this trap. They understand that attention attracts pressure. Once people know what you're doing, expectations follow. Then opinions. Then timelines that don't belong to you. Silence protects focus. Quiet accumulation gives ideas space to grow without interference. No defending decisions. No explaining delays. No managing other people's emotions. That's why real wealth often looks invisible at first. No flashy updates. No dramatic announcements. Just steady progress behind the scenes. This is also why the richest people in the room are often the least loud. They don't need applause while they're building. Applause comes later, sometimes much later. Here's the funny part. The less you talk about money, the faster it grows. Because talking feels like progress, but it isn't. The building is lonely. And that's okay. This rule can be summed up in one line. Noise invites opinions. Opinions slow you down. Millionaires move quietly so they can move freely. They don't rush to be seen. They rush to be secure. And when results finally show up, there's nothing left to explain. Silence didn't make them invisible. It made them unstoppable. Rule number 7 shifts how you see people. They play long games with long people. Most people collect contacts. Millionaires build relationships. Big difference. A large network looks impressive on paper, but a small circle built on trust moves faster, quieter, and further. Wealthy people don't rush relationships. They observe. They listen. They let time reveal character. Because speed feels productive, but trust is what actually compounds. A quick deal can make money once. A trusted relationship can create opportunities for decades. That's why rich people value who they're in the room with more than how many people are in the room. Long-term thinkers naturally filter people without trying. They don't chase everyone. They don't over-explain. They don't force alignment. They watch how people act when there's no immediate reward. Do they keep their word? Do they show up consistently? Do they think beyond the next win? If not, the relationship expires quietly. Here's the funny part. Playing the long game makes you look slow at first. You're not jumping on every trend. You're not chasing every opportunity. You're not networking aggressively. But over time, something strange happens. The right people stick. The wrong ones disappear. And the quality of your environment improves automatically. Millionaires understand this. Money grows faster in trusted ecosystems. And ecosystems don't form overnight. They're built through patience, shared values, and repeated proof. Play long games with long people, and wealth becomes a byproduct, not the goal. Because in the end, the strongest leverage you'll ever have is who still wants to work with you years later. It's about. They protect their downside first, before chasing big wins, before going all in, before posting motivational quotes about risk. Millionaires ask a simple question. What happens if this goes wrong? Not in a fearful way, in a responsible one. This is why emergency funds exist. Not because you expect disaster, but because life is very creative. Cars break. Health surprises happen. Income pauses without warning. When you have no buffer, every problem becomes an emergency. And emergencies force bad decisions. Wealthy people hate being forced, so they manage risk. They don't bet rent money. They don't gamble with survival. They don't confuse courage with recklessness. Here's the funny truth. People who talk the loudest about taking risks usually can't afford them. Real risk takers protect themselves first, because staying in the game matters more than winning fast. You don't need the best opportunity. You need the next opportunity. And you only get that if you're still standing. This is why rich people are obsessed with boring things. Insurance, diversification, cash reserves. It's not fear. It's foresight. Once survival is handled, growth becomes calm. You think clearer. You wait better. You don't panic sell or panic quit. Millionaires understand that wealth is not built by one big move. It's built by not getting wiped out. Protect the downside long enough, and upside becomes inevitable. Because the real secret isn't winning big. It's never losing everything. Number 9 is the one that separates rich people from wealthy people. They let money serve their values. Most people chase money like it's a trophy. Millionaires treat it like a tool, not a personality, not a badge of honor. A tool. Here's the difference. When money is your identity, every loss feels catastrophic. Every expense feels like judgment. Every comparison feels like failure. When money is a tool, you stop sweating the small stuff. You know your limits. You know you're enough. Millionaires have a clear number in mind. Not because they're greedy, but because they understand that after a certain point, money stops buying happiness and starts buying freedom. Freedom to choose. freedom to act, freedom to rest without guilt. They prioritize peace over prestige. That's why so many quiet millionaires don't flaunt wealth. They've already upgraded life in ways most people don't notice. They have time to think. They have energy to create. They have space to enjoy the moment without checking the bank balance every hour. And here's the funny truth. Once you stop letting money control you, you actually make more of it. Because decisions become clearer, risk becomes calculated, impulse spending becomes obvious and easy to avoid. Greed keeps people busy. Peace keeps people productive. Money is never the goal. It's the vehicle. Let it serve your values, and suddenly life feels lighter. Suddenly choices feel cleaner. Suddenly the game isn't about chasing a number. You're playing your own game, quietly winning on your own terms. That's the final hidden rule. Make money work for you, not the other way around. And when you do that consistently, everything else falls into place. None of these rules are loud. You won't see them advertised in flashy Instagram posts or shouted from TikTok trends. They don't come with motivational music or a countdown timer. They're quiet, almost invisible, and that's exactly why most people miss them. People chase quick wins, viral hacks, and shiny distractions. Meanwhile, wealth is quietly compounding in the background, like water slowly carving a canyon. The rules we covered today? They're the canyon makers. Steady, calm, relentless. Here's the thing. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. Suddenly, you notice how many people upgrade their lifestyle before building real freedom. You see why hustle without systems burns out most of us. You understand why silence, patience, and smart decisions beat noise, hype, and ego every time. And the best part? You don't need to be rich to start following them. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to start quietly, consistently, and intentionally. If you want to keep uncovering the hidden rules quietly shaping wealth, rules most people never notice, subscribe to Hidden Rules of Wealth. Do it for clarity. Do it for freedom. Do it for yourself. Because once you understand these rules, life starts to feel surprisingly simple.